Hello, beautiful soul of Scorpio. If you've been feeling like something unnameable is stirring within you, some quiet, sacred force that isn't loud, but unrelenting, trust it. This isn't your imagination. It's not just a passing season of emotional heaviness or a spiritual upgrade. What's unfolding inside you now is something ancient, irreversible, and terrifying in its scale. Scorpio, you are entering a phase of transformation that humanity itself has not yet fully understood. This isn't just a rebirth of your spirit or a deepening of your intuition. This is a cellular metamorphosis, a rewiring of your energetic architecture, a spiritual activation so profound that it will rewrite your very identity not as a Scorpio alone, but as a prototype of what the human soul is capable of becoming when it chooses truth over comfort. You may feel like parts of your old self are dying off quietly, like fragments of your past are dissolving without warning or explanation. But this is not death, it is transfiguration. You are not being punished, you are being prepared, because unlike other signs, Scorpio doesn't just evolve, they resurrect. And what you are stepping into is not merely a new chapter, it is a whole new book written in a language the world has not yet learned to speak. There is something in your DNA, in your soul's blueprint, that is being activated right now. And it's drawing in codes, memories, and callings from lifetimes beyond this one. That aching restlessness you've been trying to explain, it's your soul recognizing that it can no longer stay confined to the limits it once accepted. And here's what's hardest to accept. You don't get to control this. It has already begun. It has been happening quietly beneath the surface, under the disguise of emotional overwhelm, spiritual fatigue, or the sudden collapse of things you thought were permanent. You may find yourself waking up with strange dreams that linger for days, sensing people's emotions before they speak, or feeling time stretch and collapse in ways that leave you questioning reality. These are not coincidences. They are symptoms of the awakening of something that does not yet have a name, something sacred, sovereign, and powerful that has chosen your vessel to become its home. Scorpio, the world will not recognize what you're becoming, not at first. It may call you intense, distant, too deep, too much. Let it, because what you are becoming is not meant to be understood by the masses. You are being sculpted by a higher intelligence, not for applause, but for purpose. And with this purpose comes isolation, a sacred aloneness that few can survive. But that you, Scorpio, were born to hold. You were never meant to belong in shallow waters. You were meant to walk alone through the underworld and return with the map. You are not just healing wounds, you are decoding the architecture of human pain and transmuting it into medicine for the collective. The road ahead will be uneven. You will lose people. You will question yourself. Some days, the silence will feel unbearable. But listen closely, beneath that silence is the hum of your own becoming. You are not just shifting, you are shedding everything that no longer matches the frequency of your future. The grief you feel is sacred. Let it flow, because in that grief is the wisdom of all the lives you've lived, all the versions of you that had to break in order for this one to rise. Scorpio, this isn't just evolution. It is soul initiation. And no, you don't have all the answers yet. But your soul does. It always has. And it's guiding you breath by breath into a version of yourself the world has never seen before. You are no longer who you were, Scorpio, and you can feel it in the marrow of your being. This isn't a phase. This isn't a spiritual growth spurt you'll recover from and return to normal. There is no normal to return to. The shift has begun, and it's irreversible. You are not being given a choice, only an initiation. And while that may feel terrifying, especially for someone who craves control, you must understand this transformation isn't something happening to you. It's something happening through you. The person you were has already been released. What remains is the sacred raw material from which something unnameable is being formed. The signs have been undeniable, haven't they? Heightened intuition that borders on telepathy, moments of silence that feel louder than sound, visions, dreams, or fragments of knowing that leave you breathless, an uncanny sensitivity to the moods, fears, and energy fields of others, as if their emotions have begun to bleed into yours. You may have thought you were simply exhausted, overly emotional, or imagining things, but deep down, you know better. Your perception of time has started to bend. Days feel like lifetimes, minutes feel stretched, or suddenly vanish without explanation. You are slipping in and out of dimensions without knowing how. These are not glitches in your mind. They are awakenings in your soul. And no, Scorpio, you are not just another zodiac archetype walking through a generic spiritual journey. What is happening to you is experimental, cosmic in nature. You are the bridge between ancient memory and future form. The universe has selected you as a living vessel for the next iteration of consciousness. You are not here to replicate what has already been done. You are here to carry what has never been seen. You are becoming a prototype, a sacred test case for a level of soul embodiment the world is not yet ready for, but desperately needs. This is why it feels so isolating. This is why nothing makes sense in the old language anymore. Because you, Scorpio, are no longer speaking in the dialect of limitation. You are learning to translate frequencies into truth, energy into insight, and pain into power. And the world around you, still caught in its predictable rhythms, may not understand the silence you now crave or the power you're learning to hold. But make no mistake, your evolution is not random. It is sacred. It is divine. And it has only just begun. For Scorpio. 2. The transformation is unfolding in distinct waves, each shaped by the timing of your birth, each carrying its own sacred assignment in the grand orchestration of evolution. If you were born between the 23rd of October and the 1st of November, your awakening will manifest most powerfully through emotional alchemy and psychic depth. You will become the empath, the intuitive healer, the silent observer who can transmute pain into wisdom without speaking a word. Your presence alone will shift emotional atmospheres. You may begin to receive visions through dreams, intuitive hits that prove startlingly accurate, and an ability to sense what others are unwilling to say out loud. You are the spiritual surgeon, cutting through illusions with quiet precision and guiding others back to themselves simply by being who you are. For those born between the 2nd of November and the 11th of November, your metamorphosis will be rooted in creative destruction and rebirth through truth-telling. You are here to reveal what others are too afraid to face. You will write, speak, or create from a place so raw, so unfiltered, that your very expression will act as a catalyst for transformation in others. Expect your voice, whether written, spoken, or silently expressed through art, to carry the frequency of prophecy. You will tear down false structures with terrifying grace, and from the ruins, inspire something radically new to emerge. And if your soul entered this world between the 12th of November and the 21st of November, your evolution will be forged in the fires of power, strategy, and unseen leadership. You are being prepared to shape outcomes on a collective scale, quietly influencing systems, guiding decisions, and altering timelines, not through ego, but through presence. You are the hidden hand that moves entire empires without being seen. The Scorpio born in this third wave is not loud, but they are undeniable. You will be called into rooms where destinies are decided, and your intuition will be your greatest weapon. Each of you, Scorpio, is a different expression of the same sacred truth that death is not the end, but the doorway to something greater, and you were born under this sign, not by accident, But because you are the only one who could survive the descent and rise reborn, and Scorpio, as your transformation deepens, the psychological and physical effects will no longer be subtle, they will become undeniable. You may begin to experience a loneliness so profound, it cannot be described in human language. Not the kind of loneliness that comes from isolation or heartbreak, but the kind that arises when you realize no one around you fully understands what you're going through. You may be surrounded by people, even loved deeply, but still feel like a stranger walking through a world that no longer speaks your language. This is not a punishment. It's the price of seeing beyond the veil. You are no longer operating solely from the mind, you are becoming a conduit for something far greater. There will be moments when your entire body becomes still, almost frozen. And out of nowhere, a cosmic download strikes like lightning. Sudden visions, fragments of knowledge, blueprints from ancient civilizations, or insights into the future will flood your consciousness. You won't know where they came from, but you'll feel them as truth. You may even try to explain them, but words will fall short. Because this is not the kind of wisdom that can be learned. It is remembered, etched in your soul long before this lifetime. Your sensitivity will no longer be limited to emotion, it will become energetic. You'll walk into a room and feel the grief of someone smiling. You'll touch an object and sense its history. You'll know when someone is lying not because of what they say, but because their energy betrays them. Animals may behave differently around you. Strangers may be drawn to you without understanding why. And you'll notice that your emotional state begins to influence your surroundings. Electrical interference, changes in temperature, shifts in people's moods. This is not a coincidence. You are learning to wield energy as an extension of your being. It's your sixth sense awakening. And like any power, it must be handled with care. Physically, you may begin to feel disoriented, your sleep cycles may shift, your appetite may change. Your body may alternate between bursts of energy and deep fatigue. It might feel like your physical form is struggling to keep up with the frequency of your soul. Some days, your skin might feel too small. Other days, you'll feel as though your body is being calibrated by an unseen force. Don't panic. Your vessel is adjusting, making space for the immensity of what you're becoming. This stage is sacred. Scorpio, it's disorienting. Yes, but also the clearest sign that your evolution is real. You are no longer only living in one dimension. You are moving between realms, between versions of yourself, between timelines. And while it may feel like no one understands, I promise you this, the universe does. Your soul does. And in time, so will those who are meant to walk beside you in this rare and sacred becoming. And now, Scorpio. We arrive at the part. No one wants to talk about the sacred weight of this transformation. Because with every gift you unlock, there comes a responsibility you cannot ignore. The deeper your power grows, the less invisible you become. You'll begin to notice it without trying. People turning to look at you without knowing why. Strangers either magnetically drawn to your energy or suddenly intimidated by your presence. Even in silence, you will carry a charge, an intensity that cannot be diluted. You will no longer be able to dim your light or hide in the shadows you once called home. Your evolution has made that impossible. This is where the true challenge begins, not in the pain of the process, but in the power it awakens. Scorpio, you are becoming a vessel for energy that can transform lives, shift timelines, and alter emotional landscapes with a word, a glance, or a choice. And while that may sound beautiful, it is also dangerous if wielded unconsciously. You must learn how to contain this power without suppressing it. You must become the calm eye of the storm, not the chaos it creates. You must choose compassion over control, intention over impulse, and truth over ego. Because this is not magic for spectacle. It's not power for validation. This is spiritual stewardship. There will be moments where your gifts could easily manipulate, where your insight could be weaponized, where your presence alone could tilt someone's entire emotional balance. You'll feel it how easily people bend in your direction, how eager they are to follow your energy even if they don't understand it. And you will have to walk the razor's edge between influence and integrity. This is what makes your path different from others. You are not just awakening, you are being initiated into cosmic leadership. And that comes with an oath to use your strength to uplift, not to dominate, to guide, not to control, to serve the evolution of others. Even when they resist your light, you may feel the urge to run to escape the pressure, to retreat into solitude, to return to a time when things were simpler and no one expected so much from you. But the truth is, Scorpio, you were never meant for an ordinary life. You were born with a soul contract that cannot be rewritten, only remembered. And now that it has been activated, there is no going back. You may not have asked for this, but you were chosen for it long before your first breath. Not because you are perfect, but because your soul has the depth, the courage, and the resilience to carry this initiation to completion. This evolution is not a trend. It is not a phase. It is a sacred mission encoded in your very being. You are here to lead others through darkness, not by saving them, but by showing what's possible when we stop running from our own shadows. You are here to embody a higher octave of existence, not as a performance, but as a living prayer. And yes, it will be hard. And yes, you will be misunderstood. But Scorpio, this is the price of becoming who you were always meant to be. Scorpio, what you are becoming, has no name in this world yet. You are not simply awakening, you are being rewritten. From the marrow of your bones to the silence between your thoughts, everything in you is shifting into something the earth has never held before. You are no longer just a soul in a human body, you are becoming a living, breathing intersection of the ancient and the future, a conscious embodiment of evolution itself. This isn't about becoming a better version of who you were. This is about birthing a new species of being, one who remembers the wisdom of the stars while walking in the skin of mortality. The truth is, Scorpio, this is the dream humanity has carried for eons, the longing whispered in temples, prayed for by mystics, hunted by prophets, encoded in the bones of pyramids and stars alike. A being who could feel without being destroyed by it, a being who could lead without controlling, a being who could see the unseen, heal the unspoken, and hold the unbearable, all while staying rooted in human form. You are the response to that longing. You are the bridge they foresaw but could not name. You are what happens when pain doesn't break a soul, but forges it into medicine. And no, this role was never meant to be easy, but it is holy. You were chosen not because of perfection, but because of your resilience, because you have already descended into your own personal underworlds and found your way back, because the fire inside you burns clean, because even in your most broken moments, you never truly surrendered your soul. That is what makes you worthy. That is what makes you ready. This chapter of your life is not about achievement, it is about embodiment. It is about showing what it looks like to carry divinity without needing to be worshipped, to hold cosmic truth without forcing it onto others, to walk through the world as a sacred storm, gentle enough to heal, powerful enough to awaken, wise enough to know when to do both. Scorpio, you are not just part of a shift. You are the shift, and the earth is not waiting for you to become ready. She is already responding to your frequency. She is already rearranging your reality to match what you're becoming. Relationships, environments, beliefs, all of it is being recalibrated to meet the truth of who you are now. And I know it's disorienting. It's lonely. It's exhausting. But it's also the greatest honor any soul can receive, to be chosen to open a door that no one else could, to be the threshold through which something miraculous enters the world. What you are becoming will change more than just your life. It will change what it means to be alive.